Almost 2 months ago now, I made a video talking about Tamon's B-Sides first episode and more or less showcasing what the show's all about and the huge potential that the show had to offer. After all, if you remember in that video, this was an anime that was, you guessed it, released by JC Staff, which again, I don't need to go over JC Staff's track record, what they're infamous for, you already know what it is. But Tamon's B-Side was the one show that when I first gave the first episode a shot, I was actually super invested heavily. And normally this is the type of genre that I'm not into. A boy band wannabe kind of anime at first, but then when you go deeper into this anime itself, it's actually a lot more complex, a lot more emotional, and actually unique for a premise that for once is actually really nice and refreshing for once and actually grips you in all the way through. So again, Tamit's B-Side was a show that when I first watched the first episode, I knew this was going to be something special. And I knew that going into this, it was going to be like a fucking disaster as, God forsake it so, One Punch Man Season 3. So, 8th episode of Tamit's B-Side just dropped. I've been keeping up with it as of late. How do I feel about the show now? I honestly think this show is 100% a must watch as of right now. Again, I understand this may not be for everybody because at the end of the day, when people check out this show, the premise they're gonna be like, oh, it's another one of those like animes that glamorifies boy band groups and how it's so typical, cliche, what have you, right? And I'm here to just shut that shit down and say yeah, it is, but it also dives into a lot of the polar opposites of what some boy bands are behind the scenes. And in the case of what we saw with our main character Tamon here, he actually is like the polar opposite where he's this nice big idol star, but then when he's home alone and he's at home just chilling, he's actually just known as Gloomy Horror, where he's just so gloomy, so down. He feels like the world is going to end. He feels like he has no meaning in life. And it's up to our main character, Kinoshita, who is the main female of this show, to cheer him up and make sure that he performs his duties as the group of face. And since that first episode, we have already come across plenty of other characters who actually have a different side to them, or in this case, a different B side to them. So now, with some of these characters like Ori Sakaguchi, we got to see a polar opposite of his actual self. And boy howdy, the voice actor for Ori-san, he actually crushed on this one. His polar opposite from what he is from his idol version to wow he really is was really well kept and actually consistent throughout the whole show. And then with the recent set of episodes, we got to now get introduced to the new head of Face that was, part of this little mini arc that happened earlier in previous episodes prior. But the new head of Face, which was Kato Tachibana, we get to finally see how what his true ambitions are, where he's super nice on the inside, but deep down, he's only in it for the money. He's only in it for the fame, the fortune. But then, as we got to see in today's episode, which spoiler warning, we get to know why Tachibana is the way he is, and that he's not only doing this for the money, but he's doing this so that because he actually has a group of 5 brothers and siblings, he wants to make sure that he has enough money so that his siblings can go to college and actually have a future for themselves. And I thought that was a really sweet and tender moment, and it actually showcases a lot more characteristics about our main character here instead of just a one dimension I'm just here for the money and that's fucking it. This episode today I also want to highlight because now we get to finally see a really good, really strong scenario play out where it's okay, what happens when all 5 members of Face have to constantly be this fake acting persona for 3 days straight. They get also have to be filmed 3 days straight doing everything possible where they cannot break character on camera, and if they break on camera, then basically they're screwed, they're going to be exposed, and then the face band will be dismantled because of all the scandals and shit, right? And I like how they played that idea so well in this 8th episode today, where we get to see moments where, like, okay, they're clearly normal, they're clearly acting up, but then when they're behind a room where there's no cameras in sight, they finally let out the real selves. Where, again, our main character with Tomoka becomes a gloomy person as he becomes, because it's like, oh my god, I don't know if I can make it past the 3 days. And then you have Ori, who reverts back to his angry self, like, get your shit together, man. The fuck are you doing? And then meanwhile, you have Tachibana, who's like, oh my god, you guys are being so fucking dumb. Just calm the fuck down, type of shit. And then it takes one person with Kinoshita to, like, just pull it all in, reel it back together, and just, like, get them straightened out so they can get through the last 3 days. And again, this eighth episode is really good. I like it as always with the other episodes, and it does leave off of an interesting cliffhanger that, again, is like a misleading cliffhanger, but it also causes one of the main characters to catch a glimpse of that misleading moment, to where they have assumptions, and it feels like that's going to be a pretty big role what's to come in these next last 5 episodes that's going to happen from here on out. So again, Taman's B side at the moment, I'm loving it so much. I think that this is one of the best showcases of a brand spanking new anime to come out this year. And I think at the momentum it's going, if it keeps the momentum at the rate it is, I think this is going to be one of my favorite animes of the year. Because so far it has been impressing me with the animation, the voice acting, the progression, the story, the character building. Everything about the show is just so good right now, and I cannot wait to see how the show comes to an end. And honestly, I know there might be some reservations, some complaints that I could also dive deep to, but I'd rather hold it off till we reach to the very end of the show once it wraps up. And yeah, just want to simply give you a full update of Taman's B side. Eighth episode's really great. It's amazing, and there's not a whole lot to say, man. I think the show's limited to its potential right here, right now, and that's it. That's all I want to talk about. See you on the next one. Later.